Quinntopia. If this is your first video of mine you've ever seen, you'll know I like a lot of different N-gauge stuff. I'm fairly eclectic, and this is another example of that. A lot of my videos are of European stuff from all over Europe, some Japanese stuff, and this is another example of my love of the trains in Japan. This is a model of the MicroAce KiHa, K-I-H-A, 261 class diesel multiple unit, or DMU. It is MicroAce model number, you can see that big model number printed on the box, A8673 KiHa 261. So, wait, you're saying, is that a model train? That looks like a book. Haha, funny. Okay, everybody's kind of gotten used to this, but basically many of the, most of the Japanese model train manufacturers, at least Kato Atomics and Kato Atomics and MicroAce, provide their train sets in these really handy little bookcase units, and they're just fantastic for storage. They have a sleeve typically, or some have sleeves, take off the sleeve and you have a plastic case which protects the train set. MicroAce, and they all do it a little bit differently. MicroAce is all plastic and has these tension snaps on the side, so you take those off, open up the book or the case, and you're going to find yourself presented with some basic instructions of the how to set the train up. Essentially, all I can take away from these instructions is that the motor car, designated by the letter M here, goes in the middle. Everything else is all dummy units. So, and obviously the motor cars go on the ends, although there's no motors in the motor cars, it's in the center coach. So that's very thin on the instructions. You get just one page. It's okay for me because I can't read Japanese, so I don't know what, I'm not missing a whole lot, I don't think. It's protected by some soft cellophane, a little bit of bubble wrap, and you get right to it. Move this up to the side. And there is your train set, packed away in some really nice high quality polyurethane. There's your 5-car KiHa 261 DMU set. What a great looking set. So let's take out a few cars and take a closer look at it, and I'll tell you what I think. So here we are, the KiHa 261 from MicroAce. As you can see here, right on printed on the side, part of their marketing of this DMU is that it is a tilt train. So it in theory can take much higher speeds around curves because the train will actually tilt as it goes into curves, thus giving it a little bit more opportunity to maintain acceleration. So it literally looks good, and I got to tell you, the thing that sold me on this set was the beautiful color scheme. Love the use of the oranges and the greens to highlight the blue and silver look. Very modern, contemporary, and just really cool. Panning back now from the motor car to the second coach to the motor car. The motor is actually in this one. Let's take a little bit closer look at that. So here we are looking at the motor car. The motor sits below the seats. You can barely see in there that I've added a decoder, so you'll see the wires and you'll see a little bit of red tape for the Digitrax decoder I installed in there. And installation on these coach cars that include the motor, I actually find it is fairly easy. They're a little bit tricky, but I'll show you some photos of my DCC installation on this, and I'll provide a little bit more detail on my blog if you're interested. once you've got your decoder installed in the motor car, you need to install additional decoders in the cab cars or motor. It's confusing to call these the motor cars because there's no motor in them, but I think of them as the motor car because that's where the driver would sit. You think that there's motors in every car of this train in theory, in practice. But let's call this the cab car then. There's two cab cars here. You would need to install a decoder so that the lights in the cab car flip over when it goes in reverse or forward so that you don't have red lights showing. I haven't done that yet on mine. That's one of the annoying things about these sort of train sets is that you actually need three decoders. Function decoders, which don't control motors and therefore are a little bit cheaper for the lighting in these cab cars, and then a motor decoder for the actual engine in the center cab car. Detailing looks good. Certainly nothing bad about it. It is a bit of light feeling. It doesn't feel that heavy. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but generally when anything's this light feeling, it tends to feel like it's not as good of quality. But you could of course solve that by putting your own weights inside. These coaches and these cars don't have interior lighting. There's an option to do that as well if you want to have your coaches lit up. I'm getting to the point where I have so many coaches and so many DMUs and EMUs without lights that it's becoming an overwhelming task to even consider doing it. And I've always been frustrated with the results when I do get it. No coupler here. You'll notice it has one of the, I believe it's probably a Scharfenberg automatic connection that is typical of EMUs and DMUs. Really love the front of this. Just really striking, streamlined, cool look. Very much like the Dutch Koplopper. I like that idea. I don't know if they actually ever use these doors to connect trains in transit or if it's just for maintenance and occasional access, but certainly a cool looking locomotive with the cab way up here, way high, and the sleek windshields here. Really nice. So let's see how she does on the old sound check and see how good MicroAce motors are, at least in terms of, are they annoyingly loud or just okay? Or are they just outstandingly super quiet? So that's next on the sound check. Then we'll do a review and I'll show you a little bit of video of this train running around my layout. So here we are, ready for the sound check on the KiHa 261 by MicroAce. The ambient sound in here is usually around 6 to 9 decibels. That's cars driving by in the background, which I can't do anything about. Let's go ahead and take it up to 10 volts and see what happens. $29 to $30. Let's take it up to max power. At 33, maybe 34 at 15 volts. And now it's time for the review of the MicroAce. Almost said microwave, but it's the MicroAce KiHa 261, model number A8673. How does this stack up against my other locomotives in my fleet based on my own arbitrary rating system? Well, let's tell it how it is. In terms of appearance, you know what? It looks really good. I didn't mention it, but the coupling, even though they are Rapido couplers, there's actually some decent close coupling there. I like that. The painting is crisp and sharp. Lettering looks great. I don't really know enough about the prototype to be too critical. So for this novice, I'm going to give it a 5. In terms of performance, so far it's performed flawlessly. It's run around the layout a few times with no problem. Another 5. Conversion, yeah, this is when you're going to have to go in and do a little bit of drilling and wiring and soldering yourself. No easy plug and play there. But it wasn't that hard all in all, but still you can't give a high mark to something that is really quite a standard for the rest of us and the rest of the world with DCC. Okay, well, sorry about that. During that last segment, while I was reviewing the MicroAce, my battery died right in the middle. So I'm essentially going to pick up where I left off, which is where I rated the KiHa 261 by MicroAce. I gave it a 5 for appearance, 5 for performance, 2 for conversion, because it's all manual, traditional conversion. I didn't find it that difficult, but for somebody brand new, their first time, it's going to be a big pain. Cost, it's a good value for the money. Total of 16 points out of 4 things I graded. It's a 4. Again, another 4 in my rankings. Everything's a 4. I've got to get tougher, or manufacturer's got to do something that blows me away, truly. Maybe they need to put more sound in this and no more cost. That would certainly do it. Anyway, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please feel free to leave a comment. Subscribe. When you subscribe or leave a comment, it gives me a chance to check you out and see what you have online and get to know you a little bit. So it's always good to see what you've shared. And of course, I always appreciate your views. And stay tuned, because I'll show a little bit of video of this KiHa 261 running around Quinntopia. Thanks for watching and enjoy your trains. Bye.